Hey, I am way behind on my recap of Ladies of London, Season 1, Episode 8, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. As a recapper, I find season finales to be really anticlimactic, okay? So, I feel like the episode's done, everyone's moved on. Oh, they finally got their, all of their, their season's done. Let's move on. Who wants to watch a recap of a season that's over? But I want to finish it because I want to finish it. So I finally watched the episode tonight. Woo, it's been a long time. So we come up in the middle of this party. Noelle's drunk. She's whispering. She's clearly incredibly agitated. Like she is playing way out of her league because she is so uncomfortable with this whole thing. Caprice finally rolls into Caroline's party late. She doesn't really acknowledge Caroline. She doesn't apologize. She goes around and says hi to everyone else. Caroline's really upset because she didn't greet the host first, but then Caprice is saying, oh my gosh, Caroline's so rude, she didn't even stand up. Caroline does say to her, by the way, dear, if you'd like some food, we have it. I genuinely think that Caprice didn't hear her, but Caprice didn't respond, which is rude, but I don't think she really heard her. Anyway, she goes into this whole surrogate story about how, oh my gosh, my surrogate is going into labor. And everyone's like, well then go. Like, go. But it kind of looks like, Caroline kind of says that this is just Caprice, like, whipping everyone up into a frenzy, but not actually dealing with the situation. Anyway, at some point they talk, and it gets in this whole thing about whether there was some lie about the party. I didn't really kind of understand what they were fighting about. I know they were fighting about the shower. I didn't quite get exactly what aspect they were fighting about. Anyway, they're doing the kind of typical, no, well, fine, I didn't say you were a liar, I'm just saying it's not how it happened. And you're like, well, that's kind of what lying is. And anyway, it's this whole thing, and really this is Noelle had gotten this thing whipped up into a frenzy, and then oh my gosh, the problem is if you try to really strongly play both sides, what ends up happening is the two sides will eventually turn on each other, and then all of a sudden you're like, ugh, and that's what happened to Noelle. And that's why, Noelle made this big thing about, well, how come Marissa didn't get in trouble? Well, because Marissa was really upfront with everyone. Like, she went to everyone and she's like, this is what happened. And yes, yes, I am doing the shower because somebody needs to do it. I'm sorry you guys are fighting about it. Whereas Noelle was like, oh my gosh, Caroline's really pushing and bullying. Well, she didn't say bullying, that's the big thing. Noelle told her impression of what was happening to Caprice. Caprice then said that sounded like bullying. Noelle never said the word bullying. So there you go. Anyway, Caprice says, oh, you're acting like a bully. And Caroline's like, I don't think you should be calling me a bully in my own home. And Caprice is like, well, then I'll go. And she's like, I think that's inappropriate. She goes out front. Noelle goes out front. She's all upset. Caprice is like, oh my gosh, I don't want this to be on my head. So she goes back in and does this whole thing about how Noelle never said you were a bully. Or I guess actually what happened is Marissa came in and was like, okay, here. And then Caprice came in and said, no, she didn't say you were a bully. She said you were being mean. I said you were a bully. And it's like, that's really not helping that much. And so Caroline's like, you're calling me a bully again in my home. I thought you were going to leave. Anyway, she leaves. Somehow something came up where Marissa's like, says to Caprice, you did call me up and ask me to host it. And Caprice is like, oh, pregnancy brain. So I was like, I found this whole episode confusing. And frankly, I don't care. There you go. Anyway, they go home. Caprice packs to leave. She talks to Annabelle. She tells the story. Annabelle's like, wait, you called her a bully? And she's like, well, yeah, And Annabelle's like, I really don't think you should have said that. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Anyway, Caprice goes, gets her beautiful baby boys, all that. And of course, in the end, there's no shower. Showergate, it came to no purpose. Anyway, Caprice gets her baby boys, so yay. Noelle at some points calls Caroline, and she really sounds like she's a mess. Like, she sounds like she took meth and then fell asleep, and then someone woke her up and she tried to apologize. Because it was just this super convoluted, like, didn't she practice it in the mirror a few times before she called and apologized or tried to work things out? Anyway, Annabelle wants to do the race again next year. She's still healing. She's in pretty good shape, but she's still suffering. Her silks for the race, the McQueen silks, gorgeous. I would love them. It's got a big skull. It's done in this like pinstripe design that just goes into the skull and then keeps going. It's all integrated. It's gorgeous. We get to see a little bit with the royal baby, all that stuff. And so we finish up the season. Okay. I love the show. I want them to invite me to England next year. I can do a guest appearance because I'd be lovely on the show and Marissa and I could be BFFs. I'm hoping the show comes back for a second season. I really like it. So that is the end of season 1, Ladies of London.